What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and this is probably a big tier list for certain people. The US office, I'm saying the US office because I don't want people thinking this is the UK office, which I do not enjoy. This is a tier list of all the characters on that show. I will say, first off, because it is very important of like the loyalty to some of these characters, this is my opinion. Calm down in advance. Also, there will be certain characters I probably will completely forget the name of because I've rewatched The Office about 4 times, but I haven't seen it in about a couple of years. So calm down in advance. Obviously, like a D on The Office doesn't mean that you're terrible, but it definitely doesn't mean that you're that good. There's a few, I know there's at least 3 characters here I don't remember the name of, and it's newer-ish characters, but all the main ones will be fine. I'm going to also try to leave out the heavy hitters, likes of Michael, Jim, Pam, all that. I'm going to try to leave that towards the end, so we can just start cramming S tier. We all know that's going to happen. So, first up is Oscar. I would say Oscar was an A character. I honestly, I think it's brilliant. Like the whole thing about the whole storyline of him never coming out of the closet, how obvious it was, the sexual harassment day with Michael. Like he's got so many iconic moments. So A is probably fair. The trio of him, Angela, and Kevin are brilliant. He definitely did not need 3 accountants to do that one job, to do the job of 2, maybe even 1 person, but he was brilliant. David Wallace, obviously CEO of Dunder Mifflin for the majority of the seasons. He's nothing to write home about. Obviously he ends up saving the day and then buying back Dunder Mifflin, and like sort of becomes the savior and gets them away from Saber. But as a character on screen, I would put him at a C. Just to be fair, it's sort of what you're given. Like, it's the role he was told to play. He had to be the stuck-up CEO, but he also did give Michael Scott so much leeway with some of the stuff that he was doing. And yes, I know Michael Scott was actually a fantastic boss and a fantastic salesman, so he probably earned that leeway. But like some of the stuff Michael got caught doing was insane. Gabe, apparently none of Gabe's lines on the show were scripted. Apparently he improvised everything he did. If that is true, that's nuts, and it actually gives me a lot more respect for the character. How anyone would even keep a straight face when you don't know what's coming out of the guy's mouth next is beyond me, but I would still put him at a C. It's like the later season characters are going to have a tough time of it. Like, we all had an emotional connection with every other character for like 6-7 seasons, and then they throw a few new ones in there, so they're not going to do well. Leave Jim out. Kevin, everybody loves Kevin. I do love that secretly, like, he was basically meant to be a genius this whole time. Like, obviously, I didn't like the ending for him. I don't like that he was fired by Dwight. I thought all the core cast in The Office should have stayed working for The Office, unless you're the likes of Jim and Pam, who go off for better ventures. But it was, I know he got his own bar, but like, it means he doesn't hang out with everybody every day. Kevin's a B probably. I should have put Oscar at B, because Oscar's not better than Kevin. There's no way. Kevin's way funnier. Kevin's going up to A and Oscar's going in B because I just remembered the big container of soup. It's absolutely iconic. The Funko Pop's hilarious of it as well. This is one, don't remember her name. The character, obviously, it's Kathy Bates. She did what she had to do. It's a lot like the David Wallace ranking. Like, she was meant to be a stick up her ass boss. No, I think they wasted Kathy Bates a bit, to be honest. Like, I think they could have been so much better. Like, some of the actors and actresses that got on this show, they could have been used so much better. I know there's definitely a massive actor that's going to be on the list. I'm going to be putting straight to the bottom. Anyone who can guess who that is beforehand, sure, leave a comment down below and say what minute of the video you realised I was going to put which actor to the bottom. Phyllis, I love Phyllis. Phyllis is brilliant. The amount of times that she says Bob Vance Refrigerations is hilarious. And see, just cause I'm going to put her with her on-screen husband, Bob Vance. Like, it's a joke that never got old, and just the fact they introduced each other and themselves with Zakiya and Mrs. Bob Vance Refrigerations, it's hilarious, and I just love every second of it. And she's also terrific as Sadness in Inside Out. I just thought I'd throw that in here. We've got our first bottom tier. This isn't the character I was talking about. I don't even remember her name in the show. I hated her that much. It's Catherine Tate, obviously. She brought nothing to the show. Her humor, like, I do enjoy her other stuff. I enjoy the likes of not Computer Says No, that's Little Britain. I enjoyed her in, why am I forgetting? Do I Look Bothered? I'm just gonna call her Do I Look Bothered Girl. Like, stuff like that, like sketch comedy. She's brilliant. Show like The Office with an American audience. No, not at all. Does not belong. Even if she had showed up in the UK office, I wouldn't have found her funny. So putting her in the US office definitely wasn't funny. He's a D as well. Obviously, I know he was meant to be like the ultimate asshole boss. Like, he's probably the boss that best represents like bosses all over the world in real life jobs. He's just a complete stickler for the rules. He's no sense of humour like most bosses do, and I suppose he played the role to perfection. But when you consider this is Idris Elba, like, it's such a waste. And this isn't the actor I'm talking about. I might just go straight now and put the actor in, but no, I'll leave it for a bit. This is one of the ones I don't remember the character's name. I do enjoy it. I think he's a brilliant actor. I thought he was hilarious in both the Hot Tub Time Machines. That's what I'm basing that off. He was definitely funnier than the other new guy, who I also forgot the name of. I'll put him at a C for now. And where is he? Where are you? Him. Don't remember his name either. The fact that he ended up with Aaron is nuts. Probably one of the biggest fumbles this show has ever done, for sure. He's a D. He's a D-list character. And see, Erin, like, she's probably in the lucky few. I say lucky few, it's like she don't care what we think. She's probably one of the fortunate ones that she was introduced in later seasons, and she just became instantly part of the cast. She was iconic, especially the fact she took over receptionist. For her to become so loved in the cast by fans, like, fair play to her. And the fact that they had a multi-season build-up of her and Andy's romance, and then she ends up with this guy. No, D. Don't think Aaron, Andy, or this guy got endings they deserved. Well, he probably just deserved to be fired. He just seemed like trash in reality. Mo, obviously, like, he's actually the showrunner, I think, or the director. He was always hilarious. Like, he's an A-tier character. He's comic relief. He's strictly comic relief. He's just there to give you a laugh out of nowhere, and he did that perfectly. If the character did everything perfectly they were meant to do, they're going to be on a higher tier. Him, I just don't remember his name, and like, I don't remember him doing anything of note. Anything. You always seen him in the background, but he just nothing of note. Todd Packer, I'm not gonna lie, I love him. I think he's fantastic in the likes of Anchorman 2, of it, even the film called The Sports Movie, where he was the star of the film. It's a sports parody movie. He was brilliant. I don't like Todd Packer, but I suppose he's meant to be a douche, so he does it well. Some of the storylines with like Jim and Dwight sending him to another state and all was brilliant. I'm gonna put him at B. That's fair. Like, he's meant to be like that. He's meant to be. He's not funny, but like everything he does, Michael finds funny, but I don't find him funny in this. I just don't. His comedy doesn't translate, but a lot of people do find it funny. No, I'm happy there. B's fine. Or is it? I don't know. No, if I don't find him funny, I'm not putting him above a C. I'm sorry, I can't. It's a comedy. If I don't find him funny, and he is physically telling jokes, I'm trying to make fun of people. If I don't find it funny, I'm sorry. Stanley's an A. I'm actually shocked they don't have any S tiers. There's a lot more lower tier characters than I was expecting here. I thought it was going to be all very biased. I know the tier list I grabbed, there was a few examples of other people using it, and they didn't have a single character on this list below B. Like, they were giving everyone high rankings, so I'm very shocked it's ended this way. Stanley's definitely an A. Like everyone loves Pretzel Day. Like, Stanley's just an absolute goat. The whole, I'll see the episode where I think it's if you could do 20 press ups, you would get to go home early. And Stanley's just putting in that work. It was absolutely iconic. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Holly's a tough one. Obviously, she became Michael's love interest. She obviously became like the one that Michael left for, but she wasn't actually in it that much. Like, she took over Toby's job, I think it was, and she was in it for a long enough time for Michael to fall for. But like, she's a terrific actress. Like, she's recently been in Murders in the Building, and she's terrific in that too. I don't think she did much. She was like a female Michael Scott, but Michael Scott we're all connected to. She's not. She's just the actress that was put in there, or the character where we would be all like, oh, her and Michael belong together. But her as an individual, like, what do we really know about her? I'd say C. She's definitely not down here. She's definitely not. And that's not a reflection on like her and Michael definitely were perfect for each other, 100%. But just as an yeah, my bad there, guys. As an individual character, just there wasn't much substance to it. Leave Pam for now. Obviously, we've got Daryl. Yeah, it's Daryl. Daryl's a brilliant character. I'll put B. I think he was wasted, to be honest. Do you see when they made the decision to give him an office upstairs in the main office building? His character became better tenfold, in my opinion. Just seeing him every so often out in the warehouse wasn't doing anything. Like, for me, like, he was telling the odd joke. He just always seemed fed up, which I suppose, like, that's the reality of working anywhere, not just a paper factory. But like an actor like Craig Robinson should be just constantly on the screen, in my opinion. But I give it a B because I think he was underutilized. Obviously, why am I blanking on his name? Oh my god, like literally Pam's Roy. Why did I blank on Roy? I'm tempted to put Roy high just for the scene of him trying to attack Jim and getting maced. It's so tempting because it's such an unbelievably good scene. Like, that's one of the scenes you can go back and rewatch hundreds of times over. That and the likes of the fire drill and all. But he was a dick. He definitely was a dick, that's for sure. The way he treated Pam terribly, let's be honest. I'm gonna go C. Like, he has iconic moments, like that does pull him up from being a D, but he's definitely a douche, for sure. Definitely a douche. The character of Angela, see, it's a tough one because Angela never really changed, even when she learnt how to love and had a baby and all that. She was still an ass. Like, her demeanour never changed at all. But obviously her relationship with Dwight like added a new level to it. When her and Dwight were having the affair and all, she was more interesting. But I like cats too, you see, so I think I'm going to be a bit biased. She can go B. Angela's a good laugh, but you're laughing at how much of an ass she is the problem. Erin, as I said, Erin like had a tough part where literally she was replacing Pam as the receptionist. Pam never really settled into the whole salesperson role. Erin did do good, but they butchered so many of her storylines. Like, they butchered the one where she was looking for her birth mum, just wrapped it up in the final episode. They butchered obviously two of her relationships. They had her going out with someone, put multiple seasons of work into it, only to end up not with them and end up with just some random guy they've just introduced. So it's a tough one. I'll go B. I actually think she would have got the A if she got a happy ending. I really do. I don't consider her ending up with this guy as a happy ending. I'm sorry. I really hate this guy. I'm sorry. Obviously, what do you call... Well, I forgot his character's name as well. Obviously, it's James Spader. I'm not gonna lie. Part of me wants to put James Spader in S tier, because I said about Kathy Bates and I said about David Wallace as the bosses or the CEOs or whatever. When James Spader was the boss, like, he really put in the effort for you to hate his guts. But Robert California, that's his name. But also, like, he had quite a few times where he was actually really funny without seeming like he was trying to be funny. I'm tempted to put him high. I am. I'm gonna put him A. A's fair. Yeah, no, A is fair. Like, he's not an S tier, but like he did so much work. He put in a lot more effort to be an engaging boss than the likes of David and Kathy both did. So, obviously, I forgot her name. Karen, is it? Forgot her name, Karen. I'm not gonna lie, I never liked Karen at all. Didn't like her even when Jim had moved to the other branch. Didn't like her when they moved to back to the Michael Scott one together. Did not like them at all together. She's not funny. She's funnier in what do you call it, Parks and Rec. She's much funnier. I like her for that. I did not like her in The Office, but I think that's probably because we all had got like bias goggles on, because we just wanted Jim and Pam to finally get together. That we were going to hate anybody that wasn't Pam. So that's her probably doing her role perfectly then. But fair enough. Obviously, why I forgot her name. It's obviously Mindy Kaling, but what's her name? What's her? I am blanking on names here. It's because I'm saying so many. She really annoyed me. Her relationship with Ryan was obviously meant to be hilarious, and just see by the end it just wasn't. I'm gonna go C. She's just annoying. Like I said, her character's annoying. Kelly, that's her name. I'm getting all these names like 2 minutes after the fact, but I apologise. But Kelly, obviously, she just. I don't think I laughed once at anything she did on the show. She's like the human embodiment of the character discussed from inside out, because that's who she voices, that character too, and she wasn't funny either. So Ryan's goated. The fact that Ryan or BJ Novak, sorry, as the actor, was a writer on the show, and he wrote a lot of the episodes where like he was probably one of them higher up characters where he was getting the most screen time. He wrote a lot of those episodes. He understood the assignment. Ryan started the fire. Like, that's anyone who's watched The Office, like, just needs to hear that. The fact he was willing to make his character look like a dick when he became corporate Ryan, bigwig Ryan. He was brilliant. He knocked everything out of the park. You would actually have just thought he's not a writer, he's just a full-blown comedic genius. So he first got character in S tier, and there's about to be a lot more. Oh, and by the way, have you guessed who the big actor is yet? It's gone straight to the bottom tier, and I mean the bottom of bottom tier as a character. I'm sure you can work it out now. Well, actually, there's two candidates, to be fair. Meredith. Oh, I just didn't find any of Meredith's stuff funny. I'm gonna put Meredith at D as well. I'm feeling rough. I have a bigger D section than goat tier and A put together, which is crazy. I know Meredith was obviously meant to be the one that's like just said whatever was on her mind, was a bit inappropriate. But honestly, I just didn't find it funny. Getting Jim to sign her pelvic cast was probably her highlight. Obviously, Dwight bagging her when she had to bat in her hair. Funny moments, but it's all funny because of other people's reactions and what they do. Her herself, I just don't find funny. Creed, goated 100%. Creed is the character where he's like a sleeper hit. People don't realise how much they love Creed until after the fact. Like, Creed has so many iconic moments. You see when Toby is doing the self-defense class, and he says about you, like, make sure to attack, scream and run, and just Creed jumps up and just slaps Meredith in the back of the head, screams and runs away. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, hands down. When he comes in covered in blood and he says it's Halloween, that's a happy coincidence. It's amazing, and he does it so serious the whole time. It's like, you'd believe that that's just him living his normal life. See, if it came out he wasn't even a paid cast member, he was just showing up and just talking to the camera, I'd believe it. Jan's meant to be a D character, not because of her breast surgery. Jan literally, she was meant to be infuriating for us. Like, we all knew Michael Scott could do better. We all knew it. That whole time, that was the point of the character. The way she got on in the dinner party episode, is like, she played the role perfectly, but a little bit too well, because I hated the character. And I meant to be ranking these not as how well the actor or actress did it with the character. I meant to be ranking them on how I personally feel about the character alone. So yeah, that's a D. That's why it's like some of these here are like actually good performances, but it's like they did what they were meant to do. They were meant to make me hate them. People like Meredith I was meant to like, but no. Ed Helms. Now see, if Andy from season 3, 4, 5, we'll say, kept on that trajectory of being that funny, I would probably have him an A. What they it was like, but what they did when Sabre came in and like his head bashing with Robert California and how they ended it, and then his relationship with Karen, it felt like character assassination. It felt like they punished him for having the audacity to have a successful movie franchise, The Hangover, because then he obviously had to split his time and then couldn't film as many episodes of The Office, and it just felt like they punished the character. It really did. I would honestly like to see maybe a behind the scenes documentary where like they talk about Andy's character, because it should have ended so much better for him. He probably is one of the most iconic quotes in the whole series, in the finales. It's like, I wish somebody would tell you that you're in the good days, the good old days when you're in them. That's very profound, but I think that was probably like a little personal thing as well, because he was thinking, I wish I was still Andy from season 3, 4 and 5 instead of just being an absolute joke. Where he's going C. Like, he dropped 2 tiers from where he would have been, simply because the writers and the showrunners did him dirty. Like, this did. He could have been one of the best characters, but they just did him dirty. Toby's a goat. Like, his rivalry, like, I never once hated Toby, that's for sure. I just seen him as like a normal guy who maybe a bit depressed, who Michael just hated, and it was hilarious. Some of the stuff between Michael and Toby is iconic. It's just brilliant. Toby definitely is the Scranton Strangler, that's for sure. The fact that you know he's probably a serial killer, and like it just never officially gets confirmed, is amazing. Before we get to our 4 goats, here is the answer to the quiz. Bottom of the bottom, Will Ferrell as D'Angelo is probably one of the biggest wasted opportunities I've ever seen in my life. Number 1, whoever was replacing Steve Carell, if it was going to be an outsider, literally had no chance of being accepted by the fans. It just wasn't going to happen. It had to sort of be within promotion, like a Dwight, Jim, someone like that. It's the only way that the fans would accept them being the boss. Number 2, D'Angelo's character was so trash, but they included him in so many massive moments during his short time on the show, it was infuriating. Number 3, when the whole cast was singing the song to Michael about leaving the 26 million minutes or whatever it's called, when they were singing that song, that was a genuine surprise for Steve Carell. He didn't know they were going to film that scene. They didn't know they were going to sing. So the tears are real in that scene. And at the end of the song, D'Angelo starts doing a little solo bit, and you can physically see the faces on some of the cast members, especially BJ Novak, Ryan, at the front. He's just looking at Will Ferrell's character with such hatred, because he shouldn't be in that moment. He shouldn't be in that room. This is the moment of the whole core office cast. Nothing to do with D'Angelo. The second it was actually all smoke and mirrors and D'Angelo didn't end up taking over permanently, I was so happy. I've never been more happy. I just did not want him anywhere near the show. And Will Ferrell probably did. If the thing is, I think with the likes of the bosses, the likes of Idris Elba's character, Catherine Tate, I think they were meant to be unlikable and they played it that way. I honestly think that the show thought Will Ferrell's D'Angelo would have been popular, and he just wasn't. Like, yes, he was meant to appear a little annoying, but Michael Scott appeared a little annoying quite a lot. But I've never met anyone who liked D'Angelo. 100%. He's the worst character The Office have ever done. 100%. And I don't think he was meant to be. I think he was just terrible writing, terrible casting decision. Simple as that. Right, we're going to get into the goats. We'll start with Pam. You're just get out of here, Ryan. Pam's a goat. Absolute goat. Do I agree with some of her character decisions over the 9 seasons? No, definitely not. Do I like that? Like, I wouldn't say, like, they apparently they definitely were considering having Pam like be tempted to have a fling in season 9, obviously, when one of the camera guys came and protected her. They were considering that. The fact that was even in the show, like, just go jump off a bridge, in my opinion. Like, at season 9, the fact, like, having Jim and Pam doing anything unfaithful is a joke. I don't care how bad things were in their marriage at the time. It's not believable. Pam is one of the goats, though. Probably one of the most iconic scenes in the whole show is Michael buying her painting, or drawn, for The Office, and like just gives him a big hug. There's so many iconic scenes with Pam, it really is. But the way she led on Jim at the start was infuriating, I'm not gonna lie. The fact she was with Roy in general was infuriating. But that was the whole point, you couldn't have them together from the start. So next up, her husband Jim. Jim, I don't think Jim had like I don't think he had like a bad episode. Jim Halpert, John Krasinski, I think he's a fantastic actor. Like, I think he developed the thing himself of looking at the camera and all. It's his decision to start doing that. He's terrific. Some of the, like, his pranks on Dwight are legendary. Some of the stuff he did to him was just insane. Like, just the thing about putting the quarters in the phone and then just hitting them up the head by taking the quarters out. Just anything like that's just brilliant. And then I loved how it ended for him, that him and Dwight ended up friends. And best munchers, or whatever however you say it, at the wedding. It was fantastic, and I'm glad that they got the fitting finale they deserved. And also, credit to John Krasinski, because apparently, see, in this series, I can't remember which season it was, when they had the good-looking woman trying to seduce, obviously, Jim, and apparently the writers wanted Jim to cheat on Pam, and John just said, not happening, not filming that. Jim would never do that. Exactly. He wouldn't, and he played it properly. It's just like they tried to do the same thing in Friends. I think Matthew Perry said that they wanted Chandler to have an affair on Monica, and he just said, not filming that. Chandler wouldn't do that. And spot on. See, when the actor knows their character that well, it really shows, and it's good that they had a say in it. Dwight, obviously, absolute goat. In my personal opinion, Dwight's the best character on the show. Dwight should not be as loved as what he is, because he does so many things that are infuriating, but his character development is top notch. I see because of the prank wars between these two, Jim and Dwight. Do you see the episode where it's snowing and Dwight finally gets Jim back properly by just terrorizing him with snowball related pranks all day, and Jim's near enough in tears? You're meant to obviously love Jim a lot more than Dwight, but everybody was so happy that Dwight got one back, and in such a good way, because everyone loves Rainn Wilson's portrayal of Dwight. He just is. He's a character unlike any other on this show. And a lot of the time, I think, and see, when he was meant to be getting made regional manager, and then he accidentally shot a gun in the office, that was just fantastic. But I think he should have been made boss straight after Michael left, to be honest. I don't think there should have been farting around with the likes of Andy. And then obviously you had Robert California. I think you should have just went straight for Rainn Wilson. Give it a season and a half, 2 seasons of just him being the boss, and just see where the show lands. I think it could have actually stayed on TV a lot longer. I think the Andy stuff, actually, like, coming off Steve Carell leaving, you had to really go for it. You had to hit the ground running again, and just making Ed Helms the manager, no, wasn't it? And last but certainly not least, I'm going to put him a bit behind Rainn, because I don't think... Actually, I'm going to put Steve down here. It's nothing personal. He's my 4th favourite character. That's still pretty good. He's an absolute goat as well. The show really did suffer when he left, and I suppose that for such a large ensemble cast with so many people, so many characters that people love, the fact that him leaving basically forcibly ended the show a couple of years later. Like, let's be honest, they tried to salvage it. Season 8, the full season directly after Steve left, is the worst season for sure. Well, maybe tied with season 1. Season 1 was atrocious. When I go back and rewatch The Office, I intentionally skipped season 1. Maybe I'll watch the basketball episode, but that will be it. But Steve Carell is just, he's a comic genius. A character like Michael Scott, the way he portrayed him in the first season, I was sitting there thinking, I'm going to hate Steve Carell on this. I really thought I was going to hate him. But then he put his own spin and touches onto Michael and made him such a legendary character that everybody would just love a boss like Michael Scott. They really would. You could probably get away with murder, to be honest. Everybody, he's funny. He's a lot of the stuff he did was just iconic. He had so many scenes that he stole. Like, it must have been a nightmare to keep a straight face and recording with Steve Carell, because like his improv is just crazy. And that is it, guys. I am honestly surprised that number one, I have only 7 characters in S tier, aka GOAT tier. I'm very surprised I have 8 characters, and D is trash. Just letting you know. And I'm very surprised that even C tier is the longest tier. If you think about it, I have only 11 characters above average, because B is average. That is crazy. There's more like average or trash characters than there is good. I suppose everyone has their favourites. Like, I know there'll be people doing their own list who'll have Angela in S tier, and that's fine. I respect that. People will do this and they'll have maybe. That might be it. A lot of people would have Phyllis, Oscar, Daryl, Angela, Aaron, and maybe even Bob Vance in S tier. That have the whole top 3 rows in S tier. I did see a couple of templates where people did have them all in S tier, but that's just my personal ranking. As I said, guys, down below, sure, just let me know your GOATs. A lot of them will probably be similar to mine. Like, I've never met anyone who didn't like Dwight, Pam, Jim. This obviously, what do you call Michael? Like, everyone loves him. Creed is probably the most popular character ever now. So thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff you guys like to do, and I shall see you on the next one.